we potentially have a major problem. In short, there is now a danger that a portion of the Lewotobi Volcano's Laki-laki cone might soon collapse. Volcanic landslides are not to be underestimated, especially because this development is occurring 45 years after the largest such volcanic landslide, specifically at Mount St. Helens, was observed. These landslides often have a high starting point, an unusually long run-out distance of multiple kilometers, and if an edifice collapse removed enough rock above a body of magma or a volcano's magma conduit, it can trigger a destructive lateral blast. While the most likely outcome by far of Lewotobi's latest activity is that no such edifice collapse or lateral blast will happen, the mere possibility that it now has a chance of occurring is the very reason its alert level was just raised to its highest level, red. The exact danger is as follows. This is a cross-section diagram I have made which attempts to portray the current situation of Lewotobi's Laki-laki cone. After a major and deadly subplinian explosion on March 20th, the Laki-laki cone had been erupting basaltic andesite lava at a fairly slow and steady pace. This weaker activity constructed a large lava dome which not only filled its summit crater, but also overtopped a portion of its rim. Then, on May 18th, a greatly increased supply of magma began rising through the crust, deforming adjacent rock. Once it reached shallow depths, a dike from the magma shot to the east-northeast, breaking and deforming overlying rock, forming a fissure which is now actively extruding a lava flow. Due to the nature of this dike intrusion, it is likely putting substantial horizontal strain on both the section of the overlying lava dome and part of the prior volcanic edifice underlying it. As a result, both of these sections of a Laki-laki cone are now at risk of a sudden catastrophic failure to the east-northeast. While this is pure speculation, if an edifice collapse were to occur, it would probably be similar in size to the one which occurred at Montserrat's Soufriere Hills volcano on December 26, 1997, involving a few tens of millions of cubic meters of rock. However, what I just described is a highly unlikely, albeit plausible worst-case scenario, and there is a crucial warning sign that has not yet been observed. Thus far, there are no indications that a bulge has formed which would indicate clear-cut evidence that severe slope instability was occurring. However, scientists are keeping an eye out for this. All of this occurred in the context of heightened eruptive activity which itself began at 8 a.m. on May 18th. That time marked when harmonic tremor indicating the underground movement of magma began to steadily increase, eventually becoming substantial enough that caused rumbling to allegedly be felt by some nearby residents. A few small explosions occurred at 11:48 a.m., and tremor continued to increase until a series of large volcanic eruptions occurred around 1:22 p.m. This sent a mushroom-shaped plume of ash upwards to an altitude of 9,144 meters or 30,000 feet, which was even large enough to be seen on this satellite imagery. Then, after what had been multiple days of heightened temperatures on the Laki-laki cone's east-northeast flank, a visible fissure widened on the surface only to erupt 1 hour later. I do want to note that fissures have erupted out of Lewotobi 2 other times since its December 2023 to present eruption began, but this time is different, largely due to how unstable its upper edifice has become since then. This is yet another episode of concerning activity at Lewotobi, which has since its eruption began caused the following: damage or destruction of nearly 2,500 structures, 11 fatalities. This volcano literally shelled towns as far as 11 kilometers away with grape to car-sized lava bombs which left large craters in the ground, generated 2 lengthy lava flows, caused widespread ash and lapilli fall, modified the edifice of the volcano, and incinerated a combined total of 53.47 square kilometers or 20.64 square miles across 4 subplinian explosive eruptions. Let us hope that the volcano stabilizes and that the unlikely worst-case scenario does not become true. The most likely outcome of the ongoing situation is that these new fissures and the lava associated with them will solidify without causing a major edifice collapse. As a final note, I want to remind everyone that even if you live outside of the mandatory exclusion zone, especially to the north and east, and especially along coastlines to the east, to be cautious and aware of the ongoing situation. If you hear any crashing or thundering sounds which are not associated with volcanic or non-volcanic lightning and you live near the coast and are outside of the exclusion zone, immediately flee to higher ground. Please stay safe, everyone. Volcanic edifice collapses aren't as uncommon as you might think, with collapses involving 10 million or more cubic meters of rock at a volcano occurring about 5 to 6 times a century. A quick late update. Due to a new development since the original script was made, it now seems that the collapse risk is significantly lower. The dome is now largely gone after being ejected gradually by the continuous eruption overnight. However, another dome building phase is seemingly ongoing and may plug the conduit again.